Hello everyone, this video is looking at Back in Black. That is from the grade 3 book. So if you've been looking at Back in Black in your lessons, this is for you. Close my book, give me 2 seconds. Trying to ignore those bleeps, I'm getting messages. Right, so Back in Black. It doesn't have sections as such, but I kind of split it up into sections. So we've got section A, which is the first 5 lines. Okay, the first line is the most difficult line in the whole piece. Okay, rather than me trying to explain it to you, I'm just going to play it for you. Okay, so we've got 2 bars, and this is all we're doing. That's it. So I don't know if you'll be able to handle that. Anyway, so it's just 2 bars where we're just counting the beat with the hi-hat. Okay. On the second line then, so we move into the main rhythm. Okay, now we've got just a steady rock rhythm until we get to the end of the second bar. So we're just playing pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a crash at the beginning, however. The next bar we're doing the same thing, no crash though, but at the end of the bar we get this extra semi-quaver. So it's like a bum bum into the beginning of the next one, which I'll play just here. So it's the beginning of second bar. So we get that. Okay, so in the simplest of terms, it's coming between the 2 hi-hats. Okay, it's not in sync with what your hands are doing. Okay, third bar is back to a normal rock groove, just 1 and 3 on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the snare. And then the last bar, this is where we've got this fill pattern that comes back around again and again and again. So you've got 1, 2, and then you've got so snare hats, snare hats, snare hats, snare, snare. Does have open hi-hats on the hi-hat part there. Don't have to do that just now, you can just hit it. Okay? And that you'll hear that in the actual song itself. So if you haven't heard Back in Black in real life by Stacey, which you should have, but if you haven't, you'll recognize that once you put the song on and get used to it. This is the same as that. Anyway, I'm going to play that first line, well, second line of what I would call section A. Okay, the third line down. Okay, so we're down 1 line. It's the exact same, but we're now just muddling up the order of the bars. So we're doing 2 bars. So in the bar number 1 and 3, we've got that at the end of them. So we've got a crash at the beginning of the bar, and then we've got that bass drum at the end. Second bar is a normal hi-hat, bass and snare rock rhythm. Then the end bar, same rhythm again, da 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 da. But instead of snare hats, it's snare crash, and instead of 2 snares at the end, it's just another snare crash. Same rhythm. That's it. Okay, so very quickly talk through, but I'll play you the second line, well, third line. Okay. Next line down, again, more of the same. So the first bar here is exactly the same as what you've just done in the first one above. The second one, however, we're bringing that extra bass drum now midway through the bar. Okay, so. And then the third bar is just a normal rock rhythm. Fill at the end, again, same rhythm, ba 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 ba, but this time we're taking it around the kit. Okay, so it's snare tom, it's high tom, then high tom, low tom, then low tom, floor tom, and then 2 snares. So you're never doing like the same drum twice apart from the snare drum at the end. We're shifting. So although you do have 2 of the same drum hitting one after the other, it's at the end of a sequence and the beginning of the next one. Okay, so I'll play that whole line. Okay, and then the last line of this section, back to the normal, back to the same thing we've just done with the extra bass drum at the end, but then the bars 2 and 3 normal rock rhythm, nothing fancy about it. And then we've got the same fill again, da 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 da, but we've got one extra note at the end. But it's just the same as the first time we did it, but rather than 2 snares at the end, 3. So the first time you did that was just, but we've got an extra one this time. So that last line. That. So what I'm going to do very quickly is just play that whole first section, and then we'll move on to the next bit and then the next bit. Okay, so I'm going to skip the first line, the really difficult bit, and just come straight in at the groove. Okay. Okay, now obviously if that's too difficult for you to follow, slow down the video, okay? Just go to the settings, take it down a notch. Anyway, the next bit, so we've got 2 lines here, and these are all kind of split into like 2 bars. So the first bar we've got one of these jumpy bass drums, so we're going 3, okay, so 3 and 4. Now we do that at the beginning of each of these 2 bar phrases now. Okay, and then the next bar, very simple, starts off like a normal rock rhythm, but at the end we get a little fill. So it's like 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 bum. Okay, so the 2 bars together. Then the next 2 bars, almost the same. So we've got the first bar which is identical, the second bar, we're playing half of the groove, and instead of going da 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 da, we're now going da 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 da. So you've got 1, 2. So straight after that third beat on the bass drum. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so I'll play that whole line at the bottom of the page. Okay, beginning of page 2, same thing again. Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba. But then the third bar, again, we're getting half the bar, but then we're getting a slow fill on the snare. So, crash. So it's like 3 and 4. Hit the rim there, sorry. So I'll do those 2 bars together. And then finally, the last 2 bars are slightly different. We've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 and with the bass drum. And crash, 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 flam. So it's very syncopated. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so do those 2 bars together. Okay, so what I'll do now is go back to the beginning of that line and play that top line of page 2. Okay, and that's section B essentially, those 2 lines. Next section. So we've got 2 lines here where this will take us a very short time to get through. The first bar you've got is just a normal rock rhythm with the crash at the beginning, okay, like we had right at the beginning of the piece. Then you've got 2 bars of cont sim. Cont sim, continue similar. So if you didn't know that, which you should by now, continue similar means take that groove, continue it, but you can change it up a little bit. But you know, don't go making it a funk groove or playing like wild blast beats or anything like that. Keep it nice and similar. Now you've got examples on the first page of what you could change. Then we've got that fill at the end of the bar that we've already had. Okay. Next line down, 3 bars of cont sim. Okay, and then we've got the same fill again from page 1. where we've got the 3 at the end. Like that. Okay, so I never tell you what to play for constant. You know me from lessons now. I just say it's your creation. You've got to put something together. So I'm going to play you these 2 lines. Don't come in next week having copied everything I do, but you can use some inspiration, and that's totally fine. So play the 2 lines. Okay, so that was my consonant. Okay, finally, the last section, so the last 2 lines, you have got 3 bars where you've got a bar of groove and then a fill bar. So you've got to put in your own fill, okay, for 4 beats, right? So the bar you've got on the first one and the third one is the same that we did in that second section, the 1. And then you'd come up with a fill. Okay, the bar you've got on the second one, we've actually had it in section A. So the jumpy bits in the middle. Okay, you've got to put in 3 separate fills. Okay, now the easiest fill you could possibly do if you're stuck. Dead simple. Okay, however, we want you to kind of come up with something a little bit more adventurous at times. But yeah, when I play through it, I'll just play what comes out of me. I'll try and keep it nice and snappy and sweet so you can understand it rather than me just, you know, showing off. Anyway, the final 2 bars of the piece we've already had at the end of section B. The 1, 2, 3, and 4, and crash, crash, crash. Just no flat at the end that time. Okay, and that's it. That's the whole thing. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of that section, play them all with the fills. Then I'm going to go back to the beginning of the piece and play the whole thing. Okay, so last section. Here we go. Okay, so that's that section. What I'm going to do now, back to the beginning, I'm going to play you the whole thing, okay? I'm going to stick relatively close to the speed that it should be if you think it's too fast, so you know you want to understand it, slow it down. But yeah, I'm going to play the whole piece, and then that'll be us for today. Use this to practice. Here we go. hopefully this helps, and if you need anything else, you know where to find me. Shoot me a message on the classroom. I'll help you if we need anything else. But yeah, use this to practice, slow it down if you need it, and good luck. See you next time. Bye bye.